Hey, what's up, guys? This is Repair the Breach. Hope everyone's great. Today's video, we'll be talking about Jesus being tempted. Unitarians, Muslims, and in general, those who don't believe Jesus is divine, Jesus is God, quote this passage that Jesus was tempted. So if Jesus was tempted, he cannot be God because God cannot be tempted. I'm sure you've heard of this. I even had this discussion in my recent debate with Taylor Stewart, where I told him that the Lord was tested but not tempted internally, just as God was tested in the wilderness by Israel, but he never gave into that temptation because God cannot be tempted by evil. And that's what actually Jesus quotes to the devil: do not tempt the Lord your God. Pirasis, the Greek word pirasmos, the same Greek word Jesus is tempted with. The same word that the Father, the God of the Old Testament, is tempted, as we'll see in a minute. And it's the same word where the Holy Spirit is tempted. Pirasis, from pirasmos, from pirazo. It's the same Greek word for all three. For God in the Old Testament, for Jesus in the New Testament, and for the Holy Spirit in the New Testament. So, if their interpretation where God cannot be tempted as they understand it, well, either there's a contradiction because God was tempted in the Old Testament and the Holy Spirit is tempted in the New Testament, meaning that the Holy Spirit cannot be God according to their interpretation, because they said if he's tempted, he cannot be God. But temptation comes from your own lust, which Jesus had none. So that temptation is excluded from that passage. Or it comes from the tempter, the devil, external temptation. Now the devil, external temptation, can try to tempt people, but they will not be tempted unless they give in to their lusts. Now, since Jesus has no lust, he cannot give in to those temptations but overcome them. Now, from God's perspective, it's a trial. From the devil's perspective and our perspective, it's a temptation. Now, even if you try to say that it's a trial, there's a different word for that in Greek. Leukemia. Leukemastune. They'll be tested, tried. It's similar, synonymous, kind of. Actually, in the Old Testament, you can find both words being used for the same instance in the wilderness, where the fathers tempted God and tried him, where they saw his works for 40 years. So they tempted God, trying him, testing him. So it's the same thing, kind of meaning. So let's just look at the text where Jesus is tempted, God is tempted, and the Holy Spirit is tempted. Now, there are plenty passages that shows that God was tempted, but we will show a few of them, like Deuteronomy 6:16. Ουκ εκπειράσεις Κύριον τον Θεόν σου, ον τρόπον εξυπαρέστε εν τον πειρασμό. That's actually what Jesus quotes to the devil. You shall not tempt the Lord your God, from Deuteronomy 6:16. Numbers 14:22. They tempted God in Egypt in the wilderness 10 times, and they did not listen to his voice. Εν Αίγυπτο και εν τη ερήμο ταυτή και επήρασεν με τούτο δέκατον, και ουκ εισακούσαν μου της φωνής. They tempted him 10 times in the wilderness in Egypt. Psalm 106:14. Again, they tempted God. Εν τη ερήμο και επήρασαν τον Θεό εν ανίδρο. They tempted God in the desert. Same Greek word used for Jesus. But let's continue. Acts 5:9. Then Peter said unto her, How is it that you have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? So they tempted the Spirit of the Lord, according to St. Peter in Acts 5:9. Now, let's see how it is in the Greek. Ο δε Πέτρος είπε προς αυτήν, τι ότι συνεφωνήθη ημίν, πειράσει το πνεύμα Κυρίου. Πειράσει το πνεύμα Κυρίου. Tempt the Spirit of the Lord. Same word used for Jesus and God. So, clearly we can see that God is tempted, tested in the Old Testament over and over. It's just full of references about God being tempted by Israel in the desert. And we also saw that the Holy Spirit is tempted in the New Testament. So the whole argument that Jesus cannot be God because he was tempted just falls apart. Unless you want to say that the God of the Old Testament and the Holy Spirit is not God because they were tempted. Anyway, I'll just leave it here. God bless you. Christ be with you. And may his face shine upon you. See you again.